Rupert!
Hi!
So guess what next week is?
What?
It's your favorite holiday.
Thanksgiving!
Thanksgiving!
Yay!
Yes, and what is your favorite thing to eat at Thanksgiving?
I eat everything at Thanksgiving.
I know, but you have a very special little tiny red fruit that you like more than anything.
The cranberries!
That's right, cranbabies, cranberries, or if you're Rupert, you call them cranbabies.
Yeah.
They are a delicious fruit that we always use at holiday time. Now, we've made some things with cranberries before, right?
Yeah.
We made a cranberry relish.
Yeah.
And we made a cranberry sauce.
Ooh.
So this year for
What are we doing this year?
Thanksgiving.
What are we doing?
Well,
What are we
what's
gonna
something?
do? What are we gonna do?
What's something else that you like to eat at Thanksgiving?
Turkey?
Turkey, but what do you have with it?
The fun little roll.
The fun little roll. So we are going to, so we are going to take some cranberries and some rolls and some cheese, and we're going to make something that I'm calling Cranbabries.
That's funny.
All right, so just a minute and we'll show how to make them. Our first ingredient is, of course,
The cranberries.
cranbabies, or cranberries, whichever you want to call them. We are using dried cranberries. So for this recipe, it depends on how many rolls you want to make. I'm going to say we used about a cup to a cup and a half of dried cranberries, so have enough on hand to fill your rolls and also have a few to snack on too. Our next ingredient is 1 package of crescent rolls.
The little funny little rolls.
Yep, we are using the Pillsbury Grands rolls. I'm using the Grands because they're a little bit bigger so you can have a little bit more filling, which means more cranbabies for you. You can use them. Of course. So you can use the regular crescent rolls, or you could just use whatever type of pre-made roll mix you like. If you want to use biscuits or any other type of rolls, just make sure it's something that you can fold over the ingredients that we're going to put in it. And our final ingredient is brie cheese.
Cheese.
Now this cheese is a very soft cheese, and the kind of brie that I like is the kind that has a very mild flavor. But if you want to, you could use a much sharper cheese. You could use goat cheese.
You don't want to cut yourself on it though. It's sharp cheese.
You're cute. So you can use mild or sharp. I would say anything you think that goes with the cranberries is fine. We're using brie also because it's Cranberry Brie. Yeah.
You don't want to do cranberry cheddar.
You don't want to. You can't. You could. Yeah. So you could use cheddar. You could use goat cheese. You could use blue cheese. Whatever kind of cheese you have, or whatever kind of cheese you like. I think a soft cheese works better because it'll melt faster. Oh, you could use feta. So now we're going to see how to make these. Okay, so we're just going to start off with my well-worn baking sheet. I have my Pillsbury rolls. These are the Grands crescents, just because I wanted to put a little bit more filling in this than you would get out of the normal size crescent rolls. You can, of course, make this with a normal size crescent roll, or you could make it with biscuits or whatever kind of pre-made dough that you want. I have 4 of my crescent rolls laid out right now, and I will put the other 4 together as soon as these are all filled and rolled up. I have my brie right here. Because this is such a soft brie, I'm actually just going to use a teaspoon to distribute this. I'm just going to take a little bit of this nice soft brie and distribute it among my crescent rolls. Now you don't want to overfill any of these with too much cheese or too much of the cranberries because they'll burst right open and then you'll lose all of it. And especially with a nice soft cheese like this brie, you want to make sure that it's encased as much as possible. Now I'm just going to take my cranberries and I'm going to add a little bit to each one of my crescents. And again, it doesn't look like a ton of filling, but we're not making a muffin or anything that's too big. We're just making something with a little bit of extra flavor. So now what I want to do is try to capture as much of the filling as I roll this up and to cover it up with as many layers as possible, and then I can set that aside. Alright, so these are all filled and rolled, and so I am going to pop these into a 350-degree oven for about 15 to 17 minutes, or until they're fully cooked. You'll want to check your instructions on the packaging just to make sure that you're cooking whatever dough you've got. But basically, you're making the same kind of biscuits you normally would, with just a little bit of extra time to account for the filling.
Are your cranberries ready yet?
I just took them out of the oven.
Yay!
Okay, as you can tell, Rupert is very excited for these, and I'm actually very excited for them as well. I think using the Grands muffins really paid off because we did put quite a bit of cheese and cranberries in here, and these held together really nicely. They're still quite hot from the oven, so I'm going to let them cool down. And then we can give them a taste when they're just warm and the cheese is still melting, and I think they're going to be absolutely delicious. So just a few minutes and we'll give them a try. Is it too hot?
I burned my little tongue.
You burnt your little tongue? Okay, well, we'll let that cool down. A little bite. What do you think?
It's yummy.
These are really, really good. They have the cranberry and the brie. It's kind of hard to see in here, but they're the cranberry and the brie inside is really, really nice. It's a great combination of flavors. These are great to put right on your Thanksgiving table. Now, the original recipe...
Makes it that far.
What? If it makes it that far. The original recipe for this that I adapted was puff pastry, cranberry sauce, and brie, which you could make as an appetizer. But I wanted something that could go right on the dinner table. Plus, we have somebody in this house who does not like cranberry sauce.
Oh!
Peter!
I never see him.
I know, we never see him around here, but he doesn't like cranberry sauce, so we figured we would make it with dried cranberries, which is a great lesson if you happen to see a recipe that the flavors work for you, but you don't really think that the technique or the different elements of it would work too well for you. You can always adapt it. So we took an appetizer recipe with cranberry sauce and puff pastry, and we made it with crescent rolls, cranberry, dried cranberries, and some brie cheese.
Ha!
It's really good.
Okay.
Well, that was really good.
Yeah!
Are you looking forward to Thanksgiving?
Of course!
Yeah, so we are going to make a whole big batch of these rolls and bring them over to Thanksgiving dinner. What do you think about that? So if people liked this recipe, what can they do?
They can share.
Sharing this video with your friends.
Do we have to share the world?
No, you don't have to share the rolls, just share the video. So sharing this recipe, this video, this series with your friends, share it on Twitter, on Facebook, on Pinterest, anywhere you happen to be able to send people to YouTube would be great. Really helps us out. What else can they do?
They can subscribe.
Yeah, if you subscribe, you will keep up with all of our recipes. We make a new 3-ingredient recipe every Thursday. You also can click the little notification bell, and that will let you know whenever we have a new episode. Yep. There's also a bunch of other things on this channel. We have George. He talks about good... He's a kitty. He talks about good self-esteem. And we have Sullivan, who's a dog.
He's a dog.
And he talks about being super famous.
Will he ever be that way?
We hope so someday. So if you celebrate Thanksgiving next week, have a very happy Thanksgiving. We will be back on Thanksgiving Day with a special recipe for Thanksgiving.
We will?
I hope so.
Okay.
And if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, have a great day anyway.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll talk to you again next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Almost done.
What?
Well, you have a very big cough for a very little pig.
I don't know.
Okay.